You're listening to Empty Nexters, a podcast about finding joy, beauty, and wonder in the next season of life. What's your next? Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Empty Nexter podcast. I'm your host, Shelley, and I am so excited that you decided to join me here today. As I record today, it's actually Christmas 2025, and I can't believe how quickly this year has flown by. We are embarking on a new year, and what a great time to be together, talking about all the wonderful things God has in store for our Empty Nexter community. Thank you again for taking the time to be with me. So, we've already had a really good, honest year of conversations on this podcast. And I did an episode called Looking Back and Moving Forward, which really highlighted all the great topics we discussed and the wonderful women that came on and shared their stories. If you haven't had a chance to listen, I encourage you to do that. But as we move forward into the season that's ahead of us, our next year, I want us to shift the focus a little bit. So let's dive in. So when I was discussing this actual episode with my husband, I was telling him some of the content. I asked him what he thought I should name this episode. He immediately said, "How about Anchors Aweigh?" Man, I so connected with that. I remember back as a kid, back in the olden days, there was a song called Anchors Aweigh, and it was actually the official fight song of the U.S. Navy. The song was written in 1906, and basically what the title means, it says Aweigh, which is spelled A-W-E-I-G-H. I thought it was spelled A-W-A-Y. Who knew? It's a nautical term meaning raised, clear of the bottom, or no longer holding. Oh, I thought that was so profound. When you think about that phrase, anchors aweigh, that means we're raising up, we're clearing from the bottom, and we're no longer holding. So anchors aweigh literally means anchors lifted. The ship is ready to move forward. And when I think about that in terms of my own life, I know I'm not a ship, but I'm a vessel. I'm a vessel of the Lord, and He wants me to lift those anchors and not let those things hold me back and move forward in His purpose for what He has in front of me. And I thought about, what would it be like when you're on this ship and the admiral, he's given the call to anchors aweigh. Could you imagine if it was like this? He comes over the loudspeaker or whatever they do, and he's like, hello, men and women on this ship. I was wondering if maybe you guys might feel like lifting up the anchors. I don't know. Is that something maybe y'all want to think about in the next day or two? Anybody got some opinions? No, this phrase is a command. It's not a wish. It's anchors aweigh. We are no longer tied to this place. We're moving forward. Oh, come on. Can y'all see where I'm going with this? Anchors are no longer keeping us bound. We're going to lift those anchors and we're going to move out into that water. We're going to move out into whatever is ahead that God has called us to do. So I thought, that's kind of cool with what this means with in terms of the Navy, but what does it mean symbolically? Well, leaving the harbor, we've always talked about the safety of the shore, the safe, comfortable places. Leaving the harbor is pretty scary. We have to have courage. In order to leave that harbor, we have to lift that anchor because you can't move forward and have an anchor holding you back. We can't do that. We have to have readiness and courage. We have to move forward. We have to choose mission over comfort. Ouch. And we cannot look back. Oh, y'all, come on. These are so good. So I'm going to break it down a little bit. The phrase anchors aweigh, it's a good metaphor. It's letting go of what keeps us stuck. So what are the anchors that have kept you stuck this past year? I could tell you a few of mine. We've talked about them. We've had 36 episodes to talk about those things. What about releasing fear, hesitation, and the familiar? The seasons of life we're in, y'all, it's changing. I mean, I woke up for the first time Christmas morning. None of my kids were here. It was just my husband and I after 37 years. You talk about adjusting to what I had known, but I'm ready for the next season. How about you? And the one thing I want to talk about here is choosing movement over safety. We could stay safely anchored in the harbor. And let me just say, some of us may need to do that for a little bit longer. If the Lord's calling you to stay put, you hear from Him, maybe a season of health or just a season of rest. It's okay. But we have to know when it's time to lift that anchor and move on forward. And sometimes it's scary, but we're going to have courage because we're going to be courageous women. And we have to charge forward into the unknown with confidence. That's right. We're empty nexters. We're living our best next, and we're trusting that God has us in every season. That means when we move forward and we're not really sure, it's okay, because guess who goes with us? That's right, our Heavenly Fathers. And your community is right there alongside you to cheerlead you on. Come on, everybody go, woo, woo. So given what we've talked about the past year, the empty nesting life of those of us that have let their kids get on out of the nest and do your best and live on your own and let us just come alongside you and, hey, you can do this. Letting go of those anchors like fear and negativity, like you're not enough or health worries or being stuck on that bench. Ugh. It's not about pretending that the sea is calm because we know sometimes it's not. It's about deciding to sail forward anyway. We've talked about a lot of hard things. The house quiet and the shifting roles and the grief that surprised us. The fear that maybe we missed our moment or our best years are behind us. We know that's not true. We got so much ahead of us. But we have to have courage to lift those anchors up and get on out into those waters. And all those things I just said matter. Putting a name to everything matters. But as we step into this new year, I would like us to say one thing out loud. I want to unhook my anchors. I want to let go of them. That's right, empty nexters. We're going to anchors away. Those anchors may have steadied us for a season, but they were never meant to define us. None of those things we talked about early are not meant to define us. This year isn't about pretending that things weren't hard because they were. It's deciding that those things will not lead us anymore. We're not here to rehearse what we've lost. We're here to step into what's being formed. I needed to hear that. I just really did. So here's what I want to say, ladies. Our Empty Nexter community. This year, we're going to stop circling the mountain. I don't want to circle that mountain anymore. I don't want to take another lap because I didn't get it the first, 12th, 18th, 25th time. I want to get it. I want to stop circling the mountain. I want to start charging it. And that sounds scary to even say out loud, but I want to have courage to do it. I want to do the hard things because I know at the end of the day, it's going to produce growth in me and in you. But we can't do it in our own strength because we know courage comes from knowing who we are in Christ. Courage doesn't mean we'll never be afraid. It means fear doesn't get the final word. Courage means we don't let it narrate our lives from a place of defeat. We start living from a place of victory. I just wanted to say we need to move forward and lift our eyes and bravely and faithfully walk this journey together. This year is not year to whine. Nope, we walk forward in courage. But before we do that, I want to remind you, you are already known. That's right, Psalm 139:1. You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You are familiar with my ways. You've already chosen me. Ephesians 1:4-5. For he chose us in him before the creation of the world. In love, he predestined us for adoption. We are already loved. Romans 8:38. Nothing can separate me from the love of Christ. And you know what? Empty nexters, you are already called. He who began a good work, he will carry it through to completion. That's Philippians 1:6. So something I realize is when identity is settled, when I know who Shelley is in Christ Jesus, not who Shelley is in her flesh, courage grows a little quicker and a little easier in me. How about you? When you know who you are in Christ, you're a little more bold. You're a little less scared. I feel like that's how I want us to start this next year. And I want to talk about a few things about letting courage grow and knowing who we are when we have that identity settled, like letting go of what no longer fits. So let me just make a real, vulnerable time here. I remember so many seasons of my life where Instead of being courageous and walk in what God's called me to do and let go of those anchors, I let insecurity about my looks or my body or what size I was keep me from getting out there and doing what God called me to be. I want to have courage to walk boldly, let go of the anchor of not knowing who I am in Christ. I want to walk boldly. How about you? What is the anchor holding you down from the Lord using you completely? Let's move forward with courage and be fearless women of God, to say no without guilt and trust that God has the season ahead of me unfolding, and I don't have to have that clarity right away. And to know that fruitfulness doesn't end when parenting changes, it transforms, or when I retire, or whatever the season. Every season takes courage. It just doesn't happen overnight. But just like working out, every day I walk or I bike ride, I use my weights. I'm building muscle. I'm working at that every day, which means in order to have courage, I have to build that muscle in me. And that means taking a courageous step every day. So I want to have some women on soon that are talking and living their best next in a courageous way. I want them to come share. I want them to talk about how they started businesses at the age of 69 when they didn't have a clue. I want to encourage you to see yourself as a courageous nexter. I want to explore stories and raise our hope that we are in a community of women every day that live courageously, no matter what the season. And if you're in an empty nexter season and courage feels a little distant, I want you to hear this. You don't need a new identity. You don't need to reinvent yourself necessarily. Now, you can kind of change a few things up and, maybe wear a different outfit to kind of show off your sassy side, but you don't have to change who you are. You just need to be reminded of whose you are. That's right. You are the daughter of the King, and you already have your identity in Christ. You just have to have the courage to walk it every day, so that the rest of us can see how you have lifted those anchors and you have moved forward in joy and purpose. So when you walk in that place of identity in Christ, from that place, courage will come. And that's where you're going to be able to say, anchors away. I'm getting rid of those anchors that have held me back, and I'm walking forward in courage and boldness. So, Nexters, as I close out the podcast, I say, anchors away. Get out there and live your best next. Have a great one.